Good morning, Freeform Fitness. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Riley Pierce and I am the Director of Social Media at Freeform Fitness. So anything that you see posted on any of our social media channels, any comments that you receive or any messages that you receive are from me. So I actually want to address something that we posted on social media yesterday and we wrote an article about 2 days ago. So the social media post is here and the article is here. So in the social media post and the article, we mentioned that when we eventually reopen, which we don't know the date yet, but when we do, it will be required for everyone to wear a face mask while they are in the gym. This includes trainers as well as clients. So when we posted the article and the social media post, the feedback that we got was, is it going to be okay to breathe in? Is it going to be okay to work out in a mask? And do you know how hard it is to work out in a face mask? So I am a generally curious person and I too wanted to know this. So I actually, because if you don't know, I live in Sweden right now. I'll be back in Canada in a month, but I live in Sweden right now and the gyms are still open. So I was able to take my face mask and bring it to the gym and test it out in a workout that would likely resemble the type of workout that you will have when you go back to the gym. Now there's a few things to consider here while I talk about what it's like to work out with a face mask on, so I'll go through those as I take you through the workout. Quick summary though, from the research that I've done as well as the workout that I've completed this morning, it is safe to work out with a mask on with a little asterisk. So there are exceptions, as there are exceptions with all things to do with exercise with or without a mask. If you have pre-existing heart conditions or cardiovascular issues, then you do want to exercise caution. I mean, generally during a pandemic such as COVID-19, you want to exercise caution, but with a mask, you want to be especially careful with it, and maybe even consider setting up a one-on-one session when there isn't anybody else in the gym so that you don't have to wear a mask. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of the workout, why it is safe, and things that you should consider before you work out with your mask on. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, before I was the Director of Social Media and Marketing at Freeform Fitness, I was actually a personal trainer at Freeform Fitness. I trained at the Byward Market location. I have a diploma in fitness and health promotion, and I was certified as a personal trainer with Freeform Academy, as well as the Canadian Society for Exercise and Physiology. So all that to say, I do have a pretty good understanding of personal training and the phases of training and the science behind personal training. So everything that I tell you has been researched by me. It is based on education. I'm not just making this stuff up in order to make personal training sound safe. I've also now tested a workout for myself, so I do know, I'm still here. I didn't pass out. None of that happened. For the rest of this video, I'm going to give you a breakdown of how the video is going to go. So I'm going to start by talking about the mask, the type of mask that I wore, and then the recommended masks for breathability. I am not commenting on the filtering capabilities of the masks. I'm simply talking about the breathability of the masks because that is all that I can attest to. I cannot say otherwise in terms of the filtering of the masks. Then I'm going to talk about the workout that I did with the mask, a scoring system that I created for the workout with the masks on, and then I'll finish off with the additional precautions that people need to take when they are working out or if they are considering working out with a mask on, and a few other things like age and fitness level that you need to consider before working out with a mask on. So as I said, I'm going to start by talking about the mask. So I use a polypropylene mask that a friend got me from Germany. It is a fair trade mask, so I like it for that reason. It covers the whole face, see? And it has the straps that go all the way behind the head. Now in terms of comfort level, these types of masks sort of pull down
the ears, which I found kind of annoying. I have to adjust that all the time. But other than that, I mean, it's never going to be as comfortable as not wearing a mask, but it was okay. For breathability, I can't specifically say on any type of scale the breathability of a polypropylene mask. I know that 100% cotton is recommended for breathability, just like 100% cotton clothing is great for breathability. A mask that is made 100% out of cotton will be best for breathability. This mask, I do feel like the air was just sort of circulating in front of my mouth, which wasn't, I mean, I don't know if that's a gross, speaking moistly type of thing to say, but yeah, it was just sort of circulating in front of my mouth, and then I did get quite warm here, and even took off my mask one time to wipe a little bit of upper lip sweat away because it was bothering me. But that's all I can say about the type of mask that I was wearing for this test. And then again, 100% cotton is the best for breathability. In terms of actually filtering germs, you will have to do additional research on your own. I cannot speak to that. Okay, so let's get into the workout. So I started my workout, as you do all workouts, with a warm-up. I decided to walk through the forest that I have to walk through anyways to get to the gym. There is a route that I can go that is very flat, or there was a route that had a few more hills. So I took the route that had a few more hills just to get, the heart pumping, the lungs working to sort of give the mask that additional test. The warm-up was also outside, which we are encouraging you to do before you come to your personal training sessions. We want you to be working out outside to limit the number of interactions within the gym and just the number of people within the gym. My scoring scale, my scale that I have used for the remainder of the test is a 1 to 5 scale. So 1 is I'm fine, I'm comfortable-ish with the mask on, but my breathing, my heart rate, I'm fine. 3 is my heart is going a little bit faster, my breathing is a little bit strained, and I'm probably mouth breathing at the 3 level. And then at 5, I'm dizzy and potentially nauseous, and I need to just take a break. I need to take a really big break, take the mask off, whole thing. So that's the scale. Keep that in mind as I go through the rest of the workout. So like I said, the warm-up was a walk through the park. It took me about 10 or 12 minutes, and the temperature today in Sweden is around 11 or 12 degrees right now, / when I was doing my warm-up, and that is going to play a factor in this that I want to mention. So for my warm-up, obviously not as comfortable as it normally is because you're wearing a mask now, so the breathing and therefore the oxygen that you are receiving from the air is slightly less than what you are used to without a mask. So I rated my warm-up a 1 to 1.5. So I was fine, but there was that little bit of discomfort just because that I had a mask on, but also towards the end of my walk, I was out of the forest and therefore in the direct sunlight. So as I got physically warmer and my organs are starting to feel the stress of heat, the breathing did get a little bit harder, but that is due to heat. And again, I'm mentioning this because gyms and freeform fitness gyms are included in this, are temperature controlled. So we keep our gyms at a lower temperature in order to account for the fact that the body heats up when you work out, and a body that is too hot will actually stress out the organs. So we keep our temperature nice and low, and that allows you to work out in a comfortable way that will not stress out your organs. So wearing the mask inside the gym, you will not be affected by heat like I was during my warm-up outside. Okay, so exercise number 1 was the sled push, and I did this one because I know that most locations have a sled and it is a trainer favorite. So this may be more so for the trainers so that they don't have to lose out on an exercise that they love, but it's also for you clients to know that you have no excuses and you have to do the exercise if it's safe, obviously. I'll get into that stuff later. So for my first sled push, I just pushed the sled, which was 45 kilograms on its own. The first set, I was slightly breathless when I came back. I took a break that was 6 feet away from my counterparts. So this is an important part of taking the mask off. although we want you to be wearing a mask at all times within the gym, if you feel like you need to take a deeper breath, get some fresh air, make sure that you create that 6 foot or 2 meter distance between you and everybody else in the gym. Take your mask off, get your breaths in, and then you want to put your mask on as soon as you are in that close proximity with your trainer again. So after my first set, I did that. I took the mask off, got a few deep breaths, and then jumped back into the second set where I added a 10 kilogram plate, which is around sort of the 25-pound plate that we will have at the Freeform Fitness gyms. So I put that on, did the exact same push of the sled, and after that second set, I was quite breathless. My heart was racing, and I rated this at a 3 to a 4. So I was sort of getting to that like very uncomfortable phase, but I was still okay. It just felt like a tough workout. It's also important to mention that I was taking about 1 minute rest between these exercises as well. So taking rest is going to be really important through all of this. While you are working out with a mask on, make sure that you encourage rests with your trainer, and trainers, please allow for adequate rest time. So for the second resistance exercise, I did the deadlift, and I chose this exercise specifically because I have a pretty good idea of how many reps of deadlifts I can do with a specific weight without a mask on. So I tried to push to that rep range with a mask on, just so I could give you an idea of sort of how you'll feel doing an exercise that you're used to doing with a weight that you're used to doing, but now with a mask on. So the first set I did with an additional 10 kilograms. So I had 5 kilograms on either side of the bar, and I did 8 reps. To be honest, I think because the weight was so light, I wasn't that tired. I kept the mask on. I just took my break and then loaded it up with a little bit more weight. So the second set of deadlifts, I added 30 kilograms, so I had 15 kilograms on either side. This is sort of getting closer to warm-up set of 8 reps of deadlifts for me. So when I went to do these deadlifts, you'll see in the video as well, yes, it was sort of more in that challenging range for me, but again, when I finished this set, although my legs were now getting tired, my lungs were not feeling it, my breathing was mouth breathing, and therefore I put it at a 3 rating, but it wasn't awful. I wasn't uncomfortable, and I didn't take the mask off. And then I finished deadlifts by going up to the full 40 kilograms, which is 20 kilograms on either side, and sort of resembles that 135-pound, one plate deadlift that some of you might be used to. And I was able to do that. Instead of doing 8 reps, I did it for 6 reps. So I did drop the number of reps. My muscles were tired, and I also was feeling like if I pushed to the 8 reps, not only would I overexhaust my legs, but I think that I could have potentially pushed my lungs to a place where I would be uncomfortable and might not be able to finish the workout. So listen to your body as well. This is the lesson that you need to learn from this portion of the workout, is that you really do need to listen to your body if you want to try and train at the level that you used to, but now with a mask on. So for my final resistance exercise, I chose the Lat Pulldown, and this was a surprising exercise for me because I actually did not get any level of breathlessness at this point. So where I was with the deadlifts in that final set, where I was at like a 3 to 3.5, the lat pull down, I actually was able to come down to a 2 to 2.5 on my scale. This is the beauty of resistance training. It is not testing the heart and its ability to pump blood and therefore oxygen as in the same way that cardio does. So although your muscles still need oxygen to do the exercises within a certain rep range, your body is actually depending on other systems in order to power or fuel those exercises or those movements, if this makes sense. I hope it does. I did take my mask off after the second set, I believe, to wipe away some of that upper lip sweat because I'd gotten quite warm by this point. I was pretty deep into my workout and was quite happy towards this section of the workout. Now, last but certainly not least is the cardio portion. Now, cardio is where the mask and therefore the decrease in oxygen getting to our lungs will likely affect us the most. So, for cardio, what I did, and I did not mention this earlier, but I made the workout 30 minutes. Your workouts at Freeform Fitness are 30 minutes. So I really wanted to make the structure of my test sort of match the Freeform Fitness standard as best as I could. So when I was done the sled push, the deadlift, and the lat pull down, I had about 8 minutes left in the workout. So I just went over to a treadmill and I started running at again a similar pace that I usually would do a light jog at, and that is around 8 kilometers an hour. The treadmill was also flat. I had no incline while I was running, just because, again, as much as I wanted to test a workout, I also did not want to be ridiculous and try and go and have the most amazing workout ever. Because we need to keep in mind that for most of us, and this includes me, we've been working out from home. We may not have had the same equipment that we are used to while we've been working out at the gym. So going back into the gym, you're now working with external resistance and treadmills and all of the things that you get at the gym, and your body needs to readapt to those things. It will adapt quickly, but it does take some time to readapt. So that's on that. Now, as far as how doing cardio actually felt with a mask on, the first few minutes I felt good. Again, I was mouth breathing at this point, so we're at that sort of 3 range of my 5-point scale. As time went on, I can say that my breathing got quite heavy. It did feel quite restricted, and I had a moment of dizziness, but that was because I was breathing through my nose. So while you're doing cardio, it is important that you want to be bringing in as much oxygen as possible, and that means mouth breathing. So make sure that you're mouth breathing while, if you decide to do cardio or any type of endurance or high intensity workout at Freeform Fitness. So yeah, at around probably 5 or 6 minutes, I was getting pretty tired, but I knew that I had set myself an 8-minute goal, so I just sort of motivated myself up here to get those last 2 minutes done, and I felt pretty good after the workout. I was warm. I do not think that the mask was bad. It was uncomfortable in a couple ways, in the way that I was slightly breathless. I had to fix the straps a few times. I got sweat here that I'm not used to having sweat in that area, and yeah, it was obviously not the same as it is when you are not wearing a mask. All that to say, I now want to get into the additional pieces of information that you should understand before going into the gym with a mask on. So, before you go into the gym working out with a mask on, there are a few things that you should consider. So, if you are someone who has a pre-existing heart or cardiovascular condition, it is recommended that you talk to your doctor first. Devise a plan with your trainer. They will likely know your medical history and therefore be able to adjust your training plan with the mask on. And as a very last resort, see if you can book a session with your trainer where you are the only two in the gym and you can therefore work out without your mask on, but know that your trainer will still have their mask on. So that is a safety precaution for those of you with pre-existing conditions. Now, I also want to talk about various fitness levels. Now, I am a 26-year-old female. I used to be a personal trainer. While we've been in lockdown, in Sweden we haven't been in lockdown, but during the coronavirus time, I'm living with somebody who is part of one of the risk groups, and so they asked me not to go to the gym. I did get clearance for today, but they asked me not to go to the gym. So I have actually not been working out in a gym setting since March, like the rest of us, or the rest of you, and basically just been doing a little bit of running, some swimming, and some body weight workouts. So I have really turn down the intensity of my workouts, the weights that I've been using, all of that. So you need to think about what you've been doing since the lockdown started, how your fitness level may have changed since the beginning of lockdown to when you go back to the gym. Know that your training will need to be, or don't expect yourself to be able to train at the same level that you did before, but also know that that level of training will come back pretty quickly. The body is great at bouncing back. And also, of course, your trainers will know all of this information, and they will be taking this stuff into consideration when they plan your workouts. This is one of the beauties of having a personal trainer, is that they understand how a long break like this can affect your training level, and they know how to modify workouts in order to work with that. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention, and this might just be a sort of nerdy personal trainer thing, but when I mentioned the fact that masks are decreasing the amount of oxygen that are getting to the lungs from the air, so we are getting a decreased level of oxygen. Let me reiterate that. We're getting less oxygen, which is sort of like when you do altitude training, or when you are training to go up to a part of the earth that has a lower concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere. Now, when you go from training for altitude training, or if you were somebody who lived in, Colorado, and then you went down to sea level and you went to training, your body has adapted to working with less oxygen. So when you go back to working out in a place that has more oxygen, you're going to feel like a superhuman. So just prepare, working out with a mask on, although it is going to take some time to adapt. You wouldn't climb Mount Everest without training for it, It is going to take some time to adapt to working out with a mask, but know that when we can take these masks off, and our bodies have been adapted to exercising with less oxygen, it's going to feel pretty sweet, pretty awesome to work out without masks. Not just for the comfort level, but also our bodies will have adapted in a very cool way. So, in summary, is it safe to work out with a mask? Yes. Again, asterisk, you want to make sure that you speak with your trainer before about modifying the workout so that it suits the fact that you are going to be getting less oxygen while wearing a mask. We've also been taking a break from training, and so you will need to sort of step your training back if you haven't been training at the same intensity during lockdowns. If you have a pre-existing condition that has to do with the heart or the lungs, please be sure to talk to your doctor before you start training, and again, speak with your trainer about really modifying the workout to make sure that you are not putting yourself at risk. If you can, devise a system like my 5-point system, 1 being pretty fine, comfortable with a mask on, 3 being mouth breathing, slightly uncomfortable, but you can keep the mask on, and 5 being dizzy, nauseous, need to take the mask off. That type of system will give you and your trainer an open line of communication to really understand where you're at with your workout so that you can keep it as safe as possible. Other things you need to consider, your current fitness level, whether or not you were working out before all of the lockdowns happened, if you worked out during the lockdowns, and now what your goals are while you restart your workouts. What are you trying to achieve? Last thing, know that it is going to take time for your body to adapt to working out with a mask on, but it will adapt. It's the best thing that our bodies can do is that we have the ability to adapt. So give your body time, keep wearing the masks. Everybody please stay safe. I also want to remind you to be using hand sanitizer. Make sure that you wipe down all of the equipment whenever you can, and keep your distance. And that's it. I hope that this video helps you understand that it is safe to work out with a mask. I look forward to having all of you back in the gym and working with your trainer. I hope you're all excited, and yeah, we'll see you in the gym.